Every year, millions of men reach for a little blue pill that changed their lives. But here's what they don't know. The scientists who created it were trying to treat heart disease. This is the story of one of the most profitable accidents in pharmaceutical history. A tale of failed hearts, unexpected erections, and embarrassed test subjects in Wales who accidentally discovered a gold mine. Let's go backwards. But before we unravel this mystery, quick favor, if you're curious about hidden stories like this, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these backwards histories. Now, let's start where everyone thinks the story begins. Today, Viagra generates around $2 billion per year at its peak. Pfizer's little blue diamond-shaped pill is recognized instantly across the globe. It's become a punchline in comedy shows, a plot device in movies, and a genuine medical solution for tens of millions of men worldwide. But here's where it gets weird. If you actually read the original patent from Pfizer, something doesn't add up. The word erectile dysfunction appears almost as an afterthought. The main focus? Cardiovascular disease. Heart conditions? Angina. Why would a heart medication end up treating something completely different? The answer lies in one of the most awkward clinical trials in medical history. What happened when researchers asked test subjects to return their unused pills? The answer will surprise you. Let's go back 33 years to Moriston Hospital in Swansea, Wales. It's the early 1990s, and Pfizer is conducting clinical trials for a compound called UK 92480. The drug was supposed to work like this. It would relax blood vessels around the heart, allowing more blood flow, reducing the chest pain called angina. Simple, right? The trial involved men with heart conditions. They took the pills. Researchers monitored their hearts, standard procedure. Except nothing happened. Well, nothing happened to their hearts. Dr. Ian Osterloh, the lead researcher, noticed something strange. The drug wasn't pulling up any trees for angina treatment. But the men in the trial reported a pronounced side effect. According to internal reports and anecdotal accounts from the trials, when researchers asked volunteers to return their unused medication, a standard practice, many of the men were reluctant. This was unusual. Test subjects typically return what they don't need, but these volunteers seemed to value their remaining pills. When researchers investigated, the men became embarrassed, evasive. Some avoided direct answers. Finally, volunteers began admitting the truth. The pills were giving them erections, powerful, consistent, unexpected erections. According to reports from the trial, one participant allegedly told medical staff, "It's the best side effect I've ever had." Dr. Osterloh faced a choice: abandon the failed heart medication or investigate this unexpected effect. He investigated, but why did this happen at all? To understand that, we need to go back even further, to a discovery that would win a Nobel Prize and change everything. Jump back to the 1980s. Scientists are obsessed with understanding how blood vessels work. They know vessels expand and contract, but they don't know how. In 1986, three scientists, Robert Furchgut, Louis Ignarro, and Farid Murad, make a breakthrough discovery. They identify a molecule called nitric oxide that tells blood vessels to relax and expand. This was revolutionary. This tiny molecule was like a switch that controlled blood flow throughout the entire body. Pfizer scientists thought, if we can keep nitric oxide active longer in the bloodstream, we can keep blood vessels open longer. That means more blood to the heart. Less angina, fewer heart attacks. In 1989, at Pfizer's research division in Sandwich, England, yes, a town actually called Sandwich, they synthesized compound UK 92480. It was designed to block an enzyme called PD5-phosphodiesterase type 5. This enzyme normally breaks down the signals from nitric oxide. Block PDE5, keep nitric oxide signals going, keep blood vessels open. Brilliant plan. But here's what they didn't fully consider. PDE5 doesn't just exist in blood vessels around the heart. It's also abundant in one very specific part of the male anatomy, in the corpus cavernosum. the spongy tissue that fills with blood during an erection. When UK 92,480 entered the bloodstream, it didn't discriminate. It blocked PDE5 everywhere, including in penile tissue. The drug that failed to help hearts succeeded spectacularly in another area entirely. But this raises an even bigger question. Why was Pfizer looking for heart medications in the first place? The answer takes us back to the original cardiovascular crisis that started this entire journey. Go back to post-World War II America and Europe. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the Western world. Men are dying in their 40s and 50s from heart attacks. Angina, severe chest pain from restricted blood flow, affects millions. By the 1970s and 1980s, pharmaceutical companies are racing to find solutions. The market potential is enormous. Every man with angina is a potential customer. Every heart attack prevented is a life saved. Pfizer's research division becomes obsessed with cardiovascular drugs. They're throwing everything at the problem. They test hundreds of compounds. Most fail, some show promise but have terrible side effects. The search continues for years. By the late 1980s, after the nitric oxide discovery, they finally think they have their answer. UK 92,480. They file patents for treating angina and hypertension. They design clinical trials. They recruit volunteers. They're confident this will be their cardiovascular breakthrough. Initial trials show the drug is safe. It doesn't cause serious side effects. Heart patients can tolerate it well. But it doesn't work for hearts. Blood pressure drops slightly, but not enough to matter clinically. Angina symptoms barely improve. After years of research and development, after extensive searching, Pfizer has created another failed heart drug. Or so they thought. Here's the twist nobody saw coming. While Pfizer was trying to treat hearts, another crisis was quietly affecting millions of men. Erectile dysfunction wasn't talked about. There was no effective treatment. Men suffered in silence. The medical community barely acknowledged it as a real condition worth treating. Pfizer had accidentally created the solution to a problem that society was only beginning to admit existed. But there's an even deeper irony. Remember those 3 scientists who discovered nitric oxide? The ones whose research made this possible? On March 27, 1998, the FDA approved sildenafil citrate, brand name Viagra, for erectile dysfunction. That same year, Furchgett, Ignaro, and Murad won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Their citation read, for their discoveries concerning nitric oxide as a signaling molecule in the cardiovascular system, they won for heart research. And their discovery created the world's most famous sex drug. So let's complete the circle. Today, that little blue pill sits on pharmacy shelves worldwide. But Pfizer never gave up on hearts entirely. Sildenafil was later approved under the brand name Revatio for pulmonary arterial hypertension, a different kind of cardiovascular disease. Current research continues investigating whether these types of drugs might help other heart conditions after all, just not the ones Pfizer originally targeted. The failed heart drug that became a blockbuster sex medication has actually circled back to hearts. And those 3 Nobel Prize winners? Their cardiovascular research created both a revolution in understanding heart disease and a cultural phenomenon in treating erectile dysfunction. Sometimes the most important discoveries happen when we're looking for something else entirely. From a heart disease epidemic in the 1950s, to a Nobel Prize-winning discovery in the 1980s, to embarrassed test subjects in Wales in the early 1990s, to a $2 billion global phenomenon today, this is how Viagra was supposed to treat hearts. It failed at its original mission, but that failure changed millions of lives in a completely unexpected way. The scientists were right that they'd discovered something revolutionary. They were just wrong about what it would revolutionize. If this backwards journey blew your mind, smash that like button and subscribe to Hidden Chapters for more reverse histories that reveal how today's world was built by yesterday's accidents. Drop a comment telling me, what story should I unravel next? The invention that almost bankrupted its creator? The food that was supposed to be medicine? You decide? Thanks for going backwards with me. See you in the next chapter.